Kopia Mount Dukono just produced a 10-kilometer ash column on Friday morning. The footage is striking. 3 hikers were killed, 3 are still missing, and over 1,000 kilometers away, Mount Mayon is on day 124 of an eruption that has not stopped. As of Saturday, May 9, 2026, both volcanoes are at active alert. Neither has shown signs of de-escalation. Both sit on the same Pacific Ring of Fire. On Dukono, on the eastern Indonesian island of Halmahera, the eruption began at 7:41 in the morning local time on Friday. 20 hikers were on the mountain when it happened. By Saturday morning, 3 were dead, 3 were still missing, and 17 had been evacuated. 100 rescuers and 2 thermal drones are scanning the upper slopes for 2 Singapore nationals and 1 Indonesian. On Mayon, in the Philippine province of Albay, the eruption is on day 124. The latest PVMBG bulletin recorded 297 rockfall events, 6 tremor episodes, lava advancing in 3 gullies at 3.8 kilometers, 3.2 kilometers, and 1.6 kilometers, and sulfur dioxide emissions averaging 2,184 tons per day. Approximately 205 families are still in evacuation centers in Kamalig. This is the volcano whose 1814 eruption buried the town of Kagsawa and killed roughly 1,200 people. And this is the volcano whose closure procedures exist because, on December 3, 2023, a different Indonesian volcano named Merapi erupted at level 2 and killed 23 hikers. Mayon is producing ash. Dukono is producing missing persons. Both are still producing. But here is the detail that tells the real story. International newsrooms have Mayon on the chronic disaster rotation, ashfall, evacuation centers, agricultural damage, school suspensions. They have Dukono on the acute rescue rotation, survivors on stretchers, thermal drones over the forest, Singapore consular assistance. Most viewers see them as 2 separate news items in one weekend. What is almost nowhere reported is that the 2 volcanoes are not running on parallel news cycles. They are running on parallel geological cycles. The chronic mode kills slowly through ash, displacement, and respiratory exposure. The acute mode kills suddenly through rocks, gas, heat, and surprise. Mayon is doing the first today. Dukono did the second on Friday morning and is still doing it now. This is what is happening on Mayon today. On day 124, the volcano is doing exactly what it has been doing, and that is the problem. Since January 6, the Mayon Volcano Observatory has recorded 8,926 volcanic earthquakes, 2,291 pyroclastic density current signals, and 36,738 rockfall signals, alongside almost 5,000 minor strombolian episodes. Sulfur dioxide emissions have averaged 2,562 tons per day across the eruption, peaking at 7,633 tons on March 6. None of these numbers are from a single dramatic event. What did not make headlines is what is happening today. The ash on the roads in Kamalig is still too thick to remove without manual labor. The ash on rooftops is still heavy enough that PVMBG is now warning residents to clear it before more rain arrives, because accumulation increases the risk of structural collapse. The schools in Ginobatan and Kamalig are still closed. The 205 families are still on the gymnasium floor. PVMBG Volcano Monitoring Chief Antonia Bornas described the latest 24 hours using the same phrase she used a week ago. There was no change in the overall monitoring parameters. That phrase is the official position. The numbers do not classify it the same way. The cumulative quake count crossed 9,000. The cumulative rockfall count crossed 36,000. The permanent danger zone is still strictly prohibited. That is the chronic state status report. The volcano is not escalating. The volcano is also not stopping. This is what is happening on Dukono today. On day 2 of the rescue, the volcano is still doing what it did, and that is the problem. Joint search and rescue teams resumed operations Saturday morning after suspending the search overnight Friday because the volcano was still erupting. The search had only paused. The volcano had not. Iwan Ramdani, head of the BASARNAS Rescue Agency in Ternate, told reporters Saturday that the operation was hampered by at least 4 additional eruptions before noon. The PVMBG is maintaining the alert level at level 2, the same level it was at on April 17, when the trail was officially closed. The 4-kilometer exclusion zone remains enforced. What was on record before the eruption is the part of the story that has been least reported. 48 hours before the Friday morning eruption, an Indonesian mountain guide named Alex Jonggu was leading 2 German tourists on Mount Dukono. He told CNN he had felt deep tremors and heard sounds coming from below the crater at around 3 in the afternoon. He flew a drone to inspect the crater from the air. What he saw was, in his own words, the crater was filled with volcanic material, which was not normal. The next morning, the volcano produced the 10-kilometer ash column. In a video posted after the eruption, Jonggu said, "When Mount Dukono does not erupt for several days, people need to be careful because it may be building up very high pressure." And that is what happened today. Singapore's Ministry of Foreign Affairs and its embassy in Jakarta have confirmed they are working with Indonesian authorities to provide consular assistance. 2 of the 3 confirmed dead were Singaporean nationals, and 2 of the 3 still missing are also Singaporean. The 3rd is Indonesian. That is the acute state status report. The volcano is still erupting, the closure is still in place, and 3 hikers are still missing as of midday. To understand what is happening underneath, look at the mechanism. Mayon's lava is hypersthene andesite, thick, sticky, full of trapped gas. It does not flow so much as it builds, layer on layer, on the steep summit slopes, becoming structurally unstable and falling. That mechanism is slow, repeating, and predictable in pattern even when not predictable in exact timing. It does not, on most days, kill people. It degrades the conditions of their survival. Dukono is an open conduit volcano. The magma column inside the central vent has not solidified for 92 years, and gas flows continuously to the surface. Most days, that produces a simple ash plume. Sometimes the gas pressure builds, the plume gets taller, ejected rocks travel further, and the eruption magnitude steps up to a 10-kilometer column. That step up cannot be predicted with the precision a hiker would need. Mayon is the slow disaster. Dukono is the sudden disaster. Both are real. Both are happening today. Both volcanoes sit on the Pacific Ring of Fire, the chain of subduction zones that contains roughly 75% of the world's active volcanoes. Indonesia alone contains 127. The Philippines contains over 24. On May 9, 2026, 2 are simultaneously producing measurable damage in 2 countries. Today's twin crisis is what the Ring of Fire produces by default. The unfamiliar thing is not that 2 volcanoes are erupting at once. The unfamiliar thing is that the world is paying attention to both at once, and it is still going. Mayon is on day 124, Dukono is on day 2 of the rescue, and the Pacific Ring of Fire has not gone quiet. The question is not whether 2 volcanoes can be active at once. They can. They are. They are statistically expected to be. The question is not whether the alert levels are working. On Mayon, level 3 has been correctly applied since May 2. On Dukono, level 2 was correctly applied before April 17, and the trail was correctly closed 3 weeks before the eruption. Both systems detected what they were designed to detect. The question is whether the world understands that 2 volcanoes erupting in Asia on a single weekend is not a coincidence story. It is the steady-state expression of the Pacific Ring of Fire. The 200,000 affected by Mayon's ash and the 3 missing on Dukono's slope are both consequences of geology that has been reliably predictable for hundreds of years. In Albay, the lava is still in 3 gullies and the ash is still on the roads. In North Halmahera, 3 hikers are still on the mountain and 4 eruptions hit before noon. The Pacific Ring of Fire did not check what day it was. The next eruption has not been scheduled. If this story is worth telling, subscribe. We cover more of these every week.